Good morning, good morning. Starting a new series. I walk every morning and absolutely, obviously am obsessed with Winchester, so I thought I would come and do some fun little stories for you. So I'm actually starting with Indian Alley today. So I'm on the corner of Indian Alley and Boscawen Street, which goes through the walking wall if you're not familiar with Winchester. So I wanted to do these so that I can share all these amazing stories that I know about Winchester and all the buildings with you. But also, if you're not from the area and you just want to see what Winchester is actually really like, I thought this would be a fun way for everyone to see new things a couple times a week. I don't know what mornings I'll be doing. It'll be depending on weather and everything, but we are starting here with Indian Alley because there are some really fun little stories on how Indian Alley got the name. There are actually two stories and no one knows which one is true or kind of when everything happens, but here is how we are going to start. So Indian Alley, if you do not know, runs parallel to Loudon, which was known as Main Street back in the day. And it is behind all of the shops. So I'm currently behind Patton's Furniture, if you know where that is. That's a law office right there. So we are in the back. And we're starting here because the first story is that it was called Indian Alley because this is where all of these stables were back in the day, where all of the animals would have been kept if someone was coming to spend the night, and Indians always slept with their animals, so they would have slept back here. So it became colloquially known as Indian Alley. And if you see the name of the apartments here, Stable Lane Apartments. So that is one of the things that I love about Winchester is if you know these little details about the history, you will see all of these things that kind of people have taken and reused, like Water Street Kitchen is on Boscawen Street. Boscawen Street was Water Street before, right? Okay, so we're gonna make our way down to the other end to show you a little more and tell you the other story. There's a random boot. If you guys don't know, some of the funniest stories are people who lost a shoe and how they lost it. Absolutely hilarious. So if you ever see a random shoe, I just always think of these crazy things that could have happened and why there's one shoe. So anyway, Indian Alley. So named after the Indians sleeping back here, and or when George Washington was here and building Fort Loudon. We'll go there someday and tell you the story of that. When he was building Fort Loudon, when they were digging to do the foundation and everything, they found remains. And the remains were very large, 7-foot tall human remains. They believed they were Indians, and we don't know what happened to them. George Washington did write that they were found, but no, were they reburied somewhere, anything like that. So we're not sure. We do believe some of them are in the cemetery, but we're not completely sure. So that story I always believed probably isn't true. Like what? Because the story that everyone tells is that they see 7-foot tall Indian ghosts in this alley, and that's how it became known as Indian Alley. Right? Like I don't believe ghost stories most of the time. So I wasn't sure if that was true. It was just a rumor that was started. And so I did a little research when I was preparing, and George Washington did actually write about finding these 7-foot tall Indian remains. How crazy is that? So he did actually write, so it did happen. We don't really know what tribe they were or anything like that. There are some guesses, but we don't know for sure. So one of the other reasons I wanted to come down Indian Alley is to show you the back of this building, which just went up for sale. And I had a client call me and ask me about it, and if you've only seen it from the walking mall, you would not know the extent outside here of the damage from the fire that happened in 2016 and the potential work that you would need to do. So let's get up here so you can see it's pretty much just a shell at this point. So I'll take you around the front to see what it looks like on the other side, it's basically just a front wall. You're going to have to do everything if you're interested in this building, but it has some cool history to it as well. So let's take a walk around. This is an old church that has been the Academy of Ballet for quite a while now. It's absolutely gorgeous. So it might be a little bit loud here. We are coming up on Cork Street, so corner of Indian Alley and Cork. This is our Discovery Children's Museum. That is amazing. And Dawn, the new executive director, is just fantastic. Has a rooftop whole thing up for lots of stuff. It's one of my favorite places. So let's walk to the front of the Walking Mall quick. There are lots of stories about Cork Street Tavern I'm going to tell you. Right now we're coming up on Halloween, so of course everyone wants to know all about ghosts in Winchester. We do have an article coming in the October edition of Old Townist about some ghosts that are in Winchester, on the Walking Mall especially. Make sure if you do not have your free subscription, you can sign up at oldtownist.com. Totally free magazine, all about Old Town Winchester. Comes out monthly, straight to your email. You can also get printed copies at a lot of the stores on the mall. So let's take a look at the front of this building. So you can't really tell how much work it needs from the front. It's still pretty good on that front wall. So that was Burl's. They had a music space in the basement. He was like a nationally known musician who would invite groups to play there. And that was until 2008. And then he had to close it due to health issues and then passed away. The next owner took it over and still did a lot of music in the basement until the fire in 2016. And it's basically been shut down since then. It is for sale right now. You can ask me any questions about that. I'm not here to really sell real estate, but I am an agent, so if you have questions, let me know. They do, from what I understand, have plans that they have had approved by the BAR, the Architectural Review Board in Winchester, where you do have to keep things historic if you are in the historic district. So there's lots of stuff like that. But this is the main Walking Mall, and we will be doing lots of walks here, and I'll tell you all the fun stories about these buildings. Splash pad is closed because we've had no rain, which is crazy. But I just want to say thank you for joining me for the first walk. I do this a couple of times a week depending on weather and what's going on. But I have lots and lots of fun stories to share with you, all lined up, all printed out. Just going to be fabulous. Let me know if there's a building that you want me to cover, or an area or a story that you've heard. We're going to be all over the city. I'm going to show you some parks and things just wherever I am walking. But it will be a lot downtown because I live down here and absolutely love it. So if you are seeing this on Instagram, please go follow us on TikTok. We are trying to get our numbers up there so that we can go live with these walks and you can ask questions and everything. At Dreamweaver Team everywhere. You can also follow us at Old Townist on Instagram and Facebook for all of the magazine news. So I'm going to try and keep all of these to under 10 minutes so as to not take your entire morning, but just some fun stories for you about Winchester. Look how gorgeous the flowers are. They do a really, really good job. And it's so quiet and peaceful in the morning here. These are my favorite walks. So there we go. I hope to see you out on a walk soon.